Let's talk right now about Hulk Hogan and Hillbilly Jim. Rodney, that getting Hillbilly Jim to the WWF was a tremendous, tremendous way to get him there. Do you remember exactly what happened to get Hillbilly Jim there?
You have to remind me. I'm sorry. I've
All right, he was sitting at ringside.
Oh yeah, I
Buckhead,
remember that.
Kentucky.
Yeah, that's
He
right.
was sitting at ringside for several shows, I believe, at the Madison
Right.
Square Garden. I believe is where he was at. And all at once, he jumps in the ring and helps Hulk Hogan. And that on his Saturday night's main event, Jack?
I think it was. I know it was one of their big shows.
Here's the picture right afterwards. Hulk Hogan doing an interview and gives them his first pair of boots.
Yep.
And by the way, folks, that was not his first pair of boots. It was his Hillbilly Jim, because prior to that, he wrestled in Memphis
Yes.
as some kind of something Harley. He was like a bicycle
Harley Davidson.
Harley Davidson, yes. And that's how he started, and they found him. And, really and truly, he hadn't been wrestling maybe a year.
Yep.
And he becomes Hillbilly Jim. And Jack, I believe Hillbilly Jim was probably one of the most colorful and most over characters that WWF had.
It really was, and I'm wondering if that wasn't to the chagrin of Vince, who really hated Southern characters, but it worked. Jim got over. He's not going to be remembered as a great ring technician, but everything he did was good. He connected with the crowd, and he sold tickets. You can't ask for much more than that.
Rodney, your thoughts on Hillbilly Jim?
Yeah, pretty decent. And of course, he set the stage for one of my favorite, Uncle Elmer. He was one of my favorites. He came in, which was Plowboy Frazier, Giant Frazier, which he was much better as Uncle Elmer than he was Frazier when he was in Georgia, for sure.
On our Facebook page, a couple of people said some stuff about him. Steve Bernstein said, I remember watching the build up to this on Madison Square Garden Network. He was in the front row for a couple of weeks and ran in the ring to save Hogan. Steve Turley said, two legends, and they tagged some together. And Michael Wright actually talked about Uncle Elmer in this. Tim Hudson said that Hillbilly Jim is a DJ on XM Radio Outlaw Country now. Did y'all know this?
Yeah, I had heard that. He worked behind the scenes at WWE, and for whatever that production company was that did all their videos for years, he worked there after his career was over with. So he's kept a pretty good career going. He's changed gears, but he's still out there.
Well, Kenneth, I'm not even going to say the guy's last name. I don't know if I can get this right, but he said, remember his Uncle Elmer, a grotesquely obese old man who could barely even move. Now, is that very nice to say, Rodney?
Well, no, it's not, but it was very accurate.
He said he was 450 pounds. I think that was overstating his weight. But
he would hit the ropes and be way out into first, second, third row, and then he was able to go back.
Yep.
Luckily, but not able to turn the ring over, though. That would have been deadly.
Ropes and steel cables are two different things, and you go a lot farther when you're a big old boy, I can tell you.
It's funny because Uncle Elmer was really, honestly, he was over in the WWF. Even though people talk about him, he was over there. Did he get married on?
Yes, he did.
On television?
Yeah.
Maybe that was another one of those main event shows.
I think it was.
Where he got married. And because there for a while, they had Cousin Junior as well, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he was the guy that took the beating. So it was good.
What was his song? Don't go messing with a country boy.
That's right.
Hillbilly Jim. All right, before we get off and talk about something else, we got to talk about Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan. A lot of people will say somebody on here said he was an egomaniac, but honestly, the people who worked with him at the time, now they might say it now, but the people that worked with him at the time never said he was ever an egomaniac during that time. Have either one of y'all ever heard anyone say that during that time period?
No, he was the top guy. He knew he was the top guy, and anybody that attached to him in any way got a huge push off of that. I don't really, I have heard about people say Hogan didn't, give the brush or give the rub to anybody, but he tried with Ultimate Warrior, who was completely incapable of carrying forth with that. And later on, Hogan did try to build people up. So I don't know. You hear those stories, but I don't really see where there's a lot of validity to that.
Rodney, what do you think? Hulk Hogan.
I never, we never heard anything bad. What we heard is that Hogan took time, went to every person on the card, shook their hand, and thanked them for being there. That's what I heard. That's what we heard when we were at, because we thought, well, he might be an egomaniac, but then when we asked those questions, we found that differently.
Yeah, I never heard anybody say anything about Hulk Hogan, but Hulk Hogan has to be the most recognizable wrestling name in pro wrestling. If you talk wrestling still today, people will still say Hulk Hogan over anyone.
Yep.
They will talk about Hulk Hogan. And during this time period, Hulk Hogan was on fire. People can say whatever they want to, but if you never saw Hulk Hogan live in person, you missed something, because when he came out, that whole building was rocking. Yep. And I had the opportunity the first time to see him in Birmingham, Alabama at the Jefferson Civic Center, and I couldn't believe the reaction that he got.
Yep.
I mean, Rodney, we were there. It
was like a rock. It was like a rock concert.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that we haven't seen that before. We saw that before with the Rock and Roll Express, and we saw that with you can watch Ricky Steamboat in the Carolinas. It was amazing. But yeah, Hogan was a superstar.
Yeah. What, Jack? Any closing comments on Hulk Hogan before we move on?
Yeah, I just I got to see him when he was Sterling Golden. He was in Columbus, Georgia. He and Austin Idol actually tagged, had the full matching outfits and everything there for about 3 weeks, and then he left. but he he was still raw. He was still green then. But boy, what a response he got from that crowd.
Rodney, any closing comments on Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, he was. We saw him as well as Sterling Golden, and everywhere he went as well. He didn't last very long. He was in Knoxville. He didn't last very long there, and of course Georgia, and of course one reason is because Ole didn't like him.
No, Ole. He did not fit what Ole Anderson saw as a professional wrestler, and he didn't for that time period. No, he did not. So to Ole's defense, he said he would never draw any money. Which as Sterling Golden, probably not. But he did reinvent himself, call himself Hulk Hogan, and as Bill Dundee always says, the rest is history. Yeah. Hulk Hogan. Folks, if you're watching this, give us that big thumbs up. I got ink all over my hand if you wonder what's all over, man. Give us the big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. A lot of good stuff on YouTube. And hit that notification bell, and it'll let you know every time we upload a video, and it is almost every day we upload to YouTube.